Hey there. So if you know me, you know that I do bookkeeping for my day job. And a lot of what I do is, build processes and solve problems for our clients. And one of the tools that I use for that is Airtable, which I'm just absolutely in love with. We've made some pretty cool solutions for people with Airtable. I use it personally for a lot of different things. A lot of times just in a really simple way, and other times in a really much more elegant way. But um, I was messing around with a kind of a list of tasks that I am doing in my new role with my new hat as an author. Just trying to wrap my head around everything because that's how my brain works. I want to kind of see things that I can check off a list. And it's just a work in progress. The language may not resonate for you. It might not. You might say that's stupid, and you might say, no, I need all this. But this is what I ended up doing. And I was writing down all the things I do, may do. And and then I was like, well, I really need to divide these into like what phase I'm on. And you might think, God, you're such a geek. But you're probably not wrong about that. Anyway, it was helpful to me. I'm like, well, there's this pre-writing phase, where you're really kind of just getting your ideas in place. And then there's the phase where you're actually doing the writing. And I like to call my first one the vomit copy. I heard that somewhere. I cannot claim that. But I've had a couple of people say, "What'd you call that?" But honestly, that's it works for me because if I don't remember that, I'm like, oh, this is so horrible. What do you do? I get that imposter syndrome thing going. And if you can remember, nope, I'm just creating vomit right now. It's okay. I'm gonna shape it up later. It's all good. Then after, you're writing, you got all this editing stuff. And for me, I found out that I've got this edit that I do before I send it to the editor. And then I do this final, like I'm gonna check for commas and spelling errors and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm gonna send it to the editor, and then I'm gonna do that post-editing thing. But look what happens next. Production, all these different things that I have down that are part of production, publication, getting them listed. Look at marketing. I'm just throwing marketing is my least good category here. I'm just throwing out things. But I look at this, altogether I've got 33 line items, and through the writing part is only 12 of those line items. And that comes because of the self-publishing process. Now, there might be people who help me with these things, but these are all things that have to be attended to. And so the writing takes the longest amount of time, at least for me. The writing and the editing, this is huge for me. But when you look at the whole process, it's, I hate to say that it's a small part of it, but in one sense, it is a small part of it because there's so many other things you have to do. And I think that's where it starts to get overwhelming as a self-published writer because most people, and not all, but a lot of people they just hate this word marketing. They hate that word. I am right there with you. I hate it too. And yet, if we don't do something, nobody's going to know our book exists. I mean, you tell your best friend, "Hey, I wrote a book." Um, Here's a copy of it. That's marketing in its simplest form. So we're all doing it somehow. But what are all the things you want to do? Well, I don't know. I just started writing things down, trying to get a sense of what I wanted to do. But I just thought it was so interesting. This is why stuff like this database helps me because it helps me see, oh wow, look at all the stuff that you're doing beforehand. Look at all the stuff that you're doing afterward, and look at all the stuff that you've got to do after you've gotten a written book. I told my husband the other day, and I think I posted this, I said, finished is a relative term. I can be done with this right here, post editor. That's when I went to him, I said, I'm finished because I was ready to get the Atticus layout done, which is, great. And I spent, good amount of time doing that because when you do it once a year, you don't really remember a whole lot about the process. But anyway, um, yeah, after being quote unquote finished with the book, there's still all this kind of stuff to do. So, anyway, I just thought that was very interesting, and I thought you might enjoy seeing how my brain works a little bit. All right, have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.